Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today we're jumping into some malicious compliance. Before we start, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and you can always change your mind later. Our first story today comes to us from SloppyEyeScream. Petty army revenge is par for the course. Let's jump right in. Dear reader, I had an illustrious 21-year career in the United States Army, which miraculously concluded with an honorable discharge. 21 years and 14 combat deployments produce a lifetime of stories. The overwhelming majority of memories are comical and worth remembering, like the time I borrowed another human's truck, or the time I relocated an artillery display in my barracks room. However, some memories are extra ammunition after a live fire exercise, worth donating to Chuck and Barry. Memories suppressed so well they never happened. However, these memories can be unintentionally triggered. I worked at the bad place before attending assessment and selection. Working there was the sole reason for attending selection. The bad place was a 3-star command and nursing home for dying careers. The bad place was a mixture of National Guard, Army Reserve, active duty, and Department of the Army civilians. It was essentially a foreign planet for a soldier who had grown up in regiment and the 82nd Airborne Division. Overnight, I had transitioned from airborne infantry to the equipment tracking officer. It was my sole purpose in life to source pre-deployment training equipment for deploying National Guard and Army Reserve units. These units would request specific types of equipment, and it was my responsibility to source at least 2/3 of the requested equipment. I should mention, my boss at the bad place was Department of the Army civilian. I had 10 years of service under my belt, and it was the first time my direct supervisor was a civilian. Now, I have no issues with civilians, but I do have issues with horrible leadership. Mike was horrible. Mike was a dirty diaper, full of crap, and always on my butt. Side note, I feel the need to mention the bad place recently moved. Moved? Yes, Deep South one day and the Midwest the next. Aliens? Nope. Base realignment and closure. What? The Army decided to close some bases and expand others. Oh, so what's this have to do with the story? There was 2 active duty soldiers and 2 Department of the Army civilians performing the duties of equipment tracking officers in the Deep South. None of them moved, and all continuity was lost. Okay, there had to be some kind of transition though, right? Yes, all 4 of them spent countless hours informing me how terrible of a human Mike was via email. Oh. Story time again. Dear reader, I had no earthly idea what my job was or how I was to perform it initially. Making matters worse, I would quickly learn Mike had no earthly idea either. Mike only knew what Z, final product, looked like and was mentally unaware of the other 26 letters in the alphabet. Mike was less useful than blinker fluid and football bats. Fear not, dear reader, it only took 3 months of working 0500 to 2300 hours to garner a nascent understanding of my roles and responsibilities. Thankfully, I had wonderful counterparts at sister organizations. Furthermore, they were all equally aware of how useful Mike was. Fast forward 4 months, the section was still composed of exactly 1 sloppy. I was 25% of the total allotted manpower, performing 100% of the duties. If you wait until the last minute, it only takes a minute was my battle cry. Life was grand. I had developed standard operating procedures and automated matrices to assist me. I was even starting to catch errors from the department that validates equipment requests. Note, remember, it was my duty to source 2/3 of the equipment requests. I had a very unpleasant one-way conversation in August of 2011. Captain Richard Cranium was requesting I provide 3 rhino buses for training. Dear reader, I kindly explained why fulfilling this request was unfeasible. Problem solved, right? Nope. I then received a call from Lieutenant Colonel Richard Cranium. I then received a call from Colonel Richard Cranium. The issue quickly became a self-licking ice cream cone of chaos. Ring ring ring. The bad place, G4 Equipment Tracking Officer. This is Rank Sloppy speaking. How may I help you, sir or ma'am? This is Major General Richard Cranium from the California National Guard. Side note, civilian readers, the Major General is the boss dickhead for all National Guard soldiers in the state of California. Sloppy does not get calls from general officers ever. How can I help you, sir? I am calling to inquire as to why you will not fulfill our equipment request. Is it not your policy to provide 2/3? Dear reader, I was now a bit agitated. I had clearly explained the issue to the company commander, battalion commander, and brigade commander. I now have an irate god-level commander on the phone, and 2 courses of action are cycling through my mind. I could kindly explain why this request was absurd, or I could go full regiment sloppy. I present to you the slot machine Sloppy. Pull the lever, wheels are spinning, still spinning, and it lands on Regiment Sloppy. Sir, I clearly explained to the previous commanders why I cannot fulfill their request, and provided other options. I don't want options rank Sloppy, I want my 3 rhino buses. Roger, sir. Well, as I told the previous commanders, there are only 5 rhino buses that exist on Earth. 3 of them are deployed to Iraq, and the other 2 are in Afghanistan. Do you wish for me to forward this equipment request to Forces Command? Oh, that won't be necessary, rank Sloppy. Are you sure, sir? I mean, I can. No, did you explain this to? Every single one of them, sir. Disregard, I have some phone calls to make. Dear reader, the world was right again. At least I thought it was. It appears the Major General was slow to contact his subordinate leadership. The Colonel had contacted Mike, demanding I supply his unit with rhino buses. One would think a simple explanation would suffice for Mike, but one would be wrong. Common sense is an elusive, fickle creature for Mike. It was like trying to explain what number the letter purple tastes like. Did you tell a unit they can't have a piece of equipment? Yes, sir. Why? Because there are only 5 of them, and they are all deployed to combat zones. Well, you need to figure out how to get them. Is this man serious? I think he is. Like, call the Pentagon and ask them to redeploy them from combat because some unit needs to train with them? It's not your job to validate equipment, it's your job to source it. Do you understand? Roger that, sir. Dear reader, when one door closes, check for an open window. I had over 90 units on my desk and 30,000 pieces of equipment to source for the month of August. It didn't take long to find a window to crawl out. I found a unique request from an infantry unit. They requested a plethora of equipment and it all made sense, minus 4 pieces of equipment. Pretty sure those 4 pieces of equipment need to be on a different type of request, right? Yeah, but it's not your job to validate it. Oh, right. Dear reader, I sourced it. All 4 of them. It was not an easy task either. I literally had to scour the entire country for available inventory. I made phone call after phone call to make this request happen. None of the items were collocated. They would need to be transported from the far stretches of the continental United States, and failure was not an option. I had fulfilled my responsibilities. I sourced the equipment and turn it over to Mike for signature. Mike's signature magically allocates funding and authorizes the transportation of said equipment. Dear reader, crap typically rolls downhill. However, this specific request defied the laws of gravity. Crap was going to roll uphill. I crawled back through the window and waited a month for the fallout to ensue. Truth be told, due to my heavy workload, I had forgotten about my magnificent accomplishment. It was another horrible day at work until I received a magical phone call. Ring, ring, ring. The Bad Place, G4 Equipment Tracking Officer. This is Rank Sloppy speaking. How may I help you, sir or ma'am? Hello, I am Sergeant First Class Ricky Bobby. I am the Long Range Surveillance Platoon Sergeant for unit name. Hello, Ricky. How can I help you? Well, I'm looking at 4 helicopters, and I am told I need to sign for them. Let me look at your request. Shuffling noises. Yes, you requested 2 UH-60L Black Hawk helicopters and 2 UH-47 Chinook helicopters, correct? Yes, but I requested them for SPIES, Special Purpose Insertion Extraction System, and FRIES, Fast Rope Insertion Extraction System training. Laughing, I'm not a pilot. What the hell am I supposed to do with 4 helicopters? I mean, once you sign for them, they're yours. I suppose you could try to fly them? Effing Army, suppose I could. Don't worry, man, I've got your back. I have already coordinated with our aviation validators to support your request. I will give you their number. I'm ready to copy. 8675309. Thanks, man. Call me back if you have any issues, brother. I will walk upstairs and get this sorted so you boys can do SPIES and FRIES. Wilco, man. Dear reader, not only does crap roll uphill, but crap rolls uphill faster than I expected. I had just hung up the phone and was departing for lunch. I didn't make it 5 feet before I was beckoned to Mike's office. There are 4 chairs in Mike's office, one with a load-bearing capacity of at least 400 pounds, and 4 normal people chairs. I was awkwardly surprised to find it was already standing room only. The G4 Colonel, Deputy G4, and G3 Colonel were already in Mike's office. It seems we have an issue, Rank Sloppy. We? Really? I'm not aware of any issue, sir. Well, unit name is at Fort Hood, and the battalion commander is wondering why one of his platoon sergeants signed for 4 helicopters. Did they request 4 helicopters? I can go get the equipment request. I have it right here in my hands. Okay, did they request? Yes, they did. I don't understand the issue is we needlessly ship 4 helicopters across the United States. There are already helicopters at Fort Hood. Helicopters and pilots, there to support spies and fries training. They are there specifically for this type of request. Rank Sloppy, did this request not look odd to you? Absolutely, sir. Shocked faces, just baffled as F. Then why did you source it? Sloppy retells the entire Rhino bus saga. Sir, as I understand it, it's not my job to validate, it's my job to source it. Mike made it very clear on multiple occasions. Rank Sloppy, do you realize you just cost the Army over $100,000 to ship equipment we didn't need to ship? Sir? No, Mike, you just cost the Army over $100,000. Sir? Mike, it's your signature that authorizes allocation of money and shipping. Did you tell Rank Sloppy it's his job to source? To not validate anything and only source? Sir, I did, but... G4 Colonel starts walking out. Mike, let's have a meeting in my office. Oh, that sounds bad. Yeah, but Mike, not us. Right. Sloppy retreats to his desk. Side note, I know the G3 Colonel. We had worked in the same unit when he was a major. G3 Colonel follows Sloppy, sits on Sloppy's desk, laughing hysterically. How in the F did you do it? Do what? Find 4 helicopters. I called everyone. I leveraged my network of contacts and made it my mission. What did your counterparts say about the request? They have the same sentiments toward Mike. Honestly, that's impressive. Sir, I was going to get crapped on either way, so I decided F Mike. Yup, F Mike, I guess. Dear reader, thank you for reading my petty Army revenge. I have good news. I no longer worked for Mike after that interaction. Other misdeeds came to light after that encounter. I had a long desk-side meeting with the G4 Colonel and finally detailed my relationship with Mike. It's nearly impossible to fire Department of the Army civilians, but it was easy to move me. The G3 Colonel found a more suitable position for an infantryman. It also sucked, but he gave me ample time to prepare for assessment and selection. I was at the bad place for 18 horrible months before I found greener pastures. I could lament on all the horrible things, but it's not worth it. Why? At least I know where to go if I ever need 4 effing helicopters. Cheers, Sloppy. Jumping down to the comment section in this one, there's one from a user called The Exiled Muse. It says, for one moment, before I got the Richard Cranium joke, I wondered if all those dicks were the beneficiaries of family nepotism. Which, from what I know of the military my dad served, could have been possible, if not usually that blatant. Great story with beautifully colorful metaphors. OP replied to this comment and said, I am certain there is a Richard Cranium floating around the Army by now, laugh out loud. All those dicks laughing my effing butt off. To sum this one up completely, my brain is still stuck on one little sentence. What number the letter purple tastes like? I will use that forever. Check out OP linked in the description down below. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the KCC channel. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.